What type of trauma causes dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder? You've seen it in the movies. Let's talk about real life. Hello everyone, so I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist and co-founder of Mended. Let's talk about what dissociative identity disorder is. This is Ask a Therapist responding to this question. So dissociative identity disorder, the reason they call it that instead of multiple personality disorder, that name only speaks to the phenomenon of split personalities emerging and dominating a person's psyche, right?
Keep going.
Their emotions, their thinking, their behavior. But it's so much more than that. Dissociative identity disorder, hereafter DID. Because DID speaks to dissociation in general. Dissociation is feeling detached from reality. It's a lack of connection in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your memories, in your connection to other people or the outside world. So we're expanding the balloon here.
Balloon!
But part of that, how people cope, like it's all coping. It's coping with fear, it's coping with stress, it's coping with anger. And part of, in this particular diagnosis, how people cope is other personalities emerge to take the steering wheel, right? To handle the situation.
That's the Furious one.
So what causes this? The fact is, the scientific community, the psychological community hasn't landed on specific causes. It may be caused by trauma, like directly, or trauma may merely be a contributing factor, which is more likely, which means that trauma alone won't do it, but trauma plus genetics, plus certain experiences, plus being exposed to certain ideas may converge to make this happen. And other different, combinations depending on the person. What is largely agreed upon though, is that trauma plays a major role in this sort of thing emerging. So what type of trauma could this be? It could be emotional, physical, spiritual, sexual abuse. It could be witnessing or experiencing a near-death experience or a violent experience or witnessing the suffering of another person. It could be betrayal trauma. It could be intense loss and grief. All sorts of things can happen that we experience as traumatic that can cause this to emerge. Major traumas happening at that time can fracture the personality or cause different personalities to emerge. The way I look at it, I'm bilingual. I speak English and Spanish. And one of my greatest regrets is my wife said, when our kids are born, you should only speak to them in Spanish and I'll speak to them in English so they'll grow up having both and they'll be bilingual. And I didn't have the commitment to follow through on it. And I only spoke to them in English. And when it comes to personalities, imagine when you're young, how easily influenced the brain is, how malleable it is, how hard it is to learn a different language now versus if you grew up with both of them. If I grew up with trauma and abuse, different personalities may emerge in order to help me feel safe or to feel strong. I'm going to talk about this more in future videos, but I once worked with a trauma patient who had dissociative identity disorder. And the three personalities that I got to see were the host personality, which is the original person, the original woman, who had the original name, and this was her. And then two others. Here's a trigger warning because we're going to talk about abuse and I won't get very specific, but she was sexually abused as a child, starting at the age of about 6 or 7. So one of her personalities was a little girl who would come out whenever she felt guilty or ashamed and she wanted to, I guess, subconsciously feel innocent again. Or when she felt afraid and she wanted to go back to when she didn't feel afraid. Well, the last time she didn't feel afraid was when she was 5 or 6, because at 6 or 7 the abuse started. And so this little girl would come out and had a different name, had a different voice, different age, different mentality, different body posture, different mannerisms. And it was not performance. I have to emphasize this. It was completely real to the person involved. And we often had to talk as if we were talking now to a little girl instead of to a more mature woman, because this personality would come out to help her feel safe and protected. And then there was another one that she called, because as the host personality, you may or may not be aware of your other personalities, but she was, and she called this one the bitch. And the bitch came out when when the original person, the host personality, wanted to feel strong, wanted to feel powerful, wanted to feel like she wasn't going to take any crap from anybody. But she didn't know how, just as herself, to do that. She didn't want to be mean, she didn't want to be rude, so she'd often get walked on. So the bitch would come out and give people what for and tell people what to do and would tell people I won't be treated this way and give them a few choice words and would yell and scream and be intimidating. Because the host personality didn't want to be any of those things, but also wanted to feel safe. And this personality would come out when she wanted to feel safe and strong and powerful. So in her case, it was childhood trauma. It was sexual abuse. and she had different personalities to help her feel safe or to feel innocent or to help her to feel strong and to feel powerful. How do you know if you've got dissociative identity disorder, and what are the best treatments for it? So we're going to be addressing those in future videos. For now, if you enjoyed this, I've got an entire Ask the Therapist playlist full of just juicy, delicious goodness.
Yummy, yummy.
All the insights and compassion and wisdom that you can shake a stick at. If you've experienced a trauma, I'd like to invite you to visit our website, mendedlight.com, where you can learn about our trauma healing programs, get to know our therapist, and schedule an appointment to see if we're a good fit for you. Have you ever had an experience with dissociative identity disorder in your family, amongst your friends, that you can share without betraying anyone's confidence? If so, sound off in the comments below. What questions do you have on this topic, or any topic that you'd like for me to answer in the Ask a Therapist segment? Please sound off in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. We love your thoughts and your insights. If you're digging this, share it with your friends and family. Like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell so that every time we drop a video, you're sure to get notified. But most importantly, your talents, your skills, your light, shine it before the world, because the world needs it and so do we. I'm Jonathan Decker with Mended Light. This has been Ask a Therapist, signing off. Oh, looky. It's that playlist I was telling you about. You got a few hours to kill, right? You do now.